My name is Sid Haas. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at LKCS, and I'd like to welcome you to our webinar today on advertising media selection and budgeting. And that's what we're going to be talking about. I know that a lot of you are probably working on starting to compile your budgets for next year, so it's probably a good time to talk about some of the options, that you have, some of the things that are maybe changing in the industry, and things that you're probably aware of, and some things that maybe you're not aware of. Options that you have for marketing. So that's kind of the plan for the presentation today. For those of you not familiar with LKCS, we've been working with financial institutions around the country since the early 1960s. We provide a wide variety of services, both in traditional and digital marketing, and really our focus is on utilizing data, to improve the results that our clients receive from their marketing campaigns. So this is kind of the one slide I have on our services. But as we talk about marketing, obviously there's a number of different objectives that you probably have, in your marketing plans and from all of your campaigns, and they can vary, right? I mean, you could obviously be looking to, obtain new members and customers. You might be introducing new products and services into the market, or you might just be looking to, generate goodwill within the community. And obviously the goals that you have, will differ, and obviously the channels that you choose, may differ as well based on those objectives. So really the first step is to define those goals, and then also to define your audience, because different products and services and different goals that you have obviously bring different audiences as well. So at the most basic level, you're going to determine, are you promoting your services to businesses or to consumers? And then as we look at data-driven marketing and those types of techniques allow us to break down those audiences much further, right? We can look at demographics and psychographic characteristics, behavioral characteristics, and things like that to obviously, drill down much further. So when we start looking at how we're going to start reaching, these people or these businesses that you're going to promote to, you have to realize that each person sees between 4,000 and 10,000 ads every day. That's a lot. And we also know that it takes about 7 times for somebody to see your ad or your message before they're actually going to take action. And if you've all been in marketing, most likely, so you've all heard the 4 Ps, but it comes down to product, place, price, and promotion, right? And kind of the combination of those 4 Ps and how you communicate those and where you communicate those and the frequency of you communicating those is what's going to drive the results of your marketing efforts. So when you start putting your marketing plans together, it's a good marketing plan, or the best marketing plans really spread your message using a wide variety of media. Not everybody obviously looks at the same channel, right? The same different marketing channels all the time, and they don't all have the same channel preferences. And again, consumers need to see your message multiple times before they act. So you have to repeat that message multiple times across multiple channels. And you have a lot of different options when it comes to the different marketing media choices that you have. So we're going to talk about some of these channels, obviously in more detail, but I kind of break these channels into 4 segments, right? You have your broadcast media channels, your print media channels, your online channels or digital channels, and your specialty channels. And, you see some of the more common, advertising or marketing options in each of those channels. There's certainly many others that we can break into each one of those channels, but these are probably the more common ones that you're utilizing. obviously today online and digital is playing a much bigger role, and we'll talk about that and even give you some numbers as to what, industry pundits are recommending how much of a role that should play, in your marketing plans. So one disclaimer, I'm pretty passionate about, and I do make money on selling products and services from 3 out of 4 of those media categories. So I'm definitely, not, impartial to some of those options. But again, we're here to talk about, quite a bit about spreading your message across a variety of media options. So let's look closer at some of those options. So I've picked out kind of some that you might be considering, you might be including, you may have used or are using, and some you may not be. But we hear a lot of questions, about some of these, and so I'll give you pros and cons the way I see them about these different channels, right? These different options. So TV, right? The pros that I see regarding television, advertising is obviously of a much larger audience than your local newspapers and radio stations. Video is definitely impactful, right? Sound and video and motion, right, conveys your message. Cable TV can be, and satellite TV along with it, right, can be geographically targeted. And obviously any video that you're producing can be shared on YouTube and social media and on your website. So those are all pros to TV. Cons, your production costs can be high, right? Or your ad's going to look homemade. We've all seen those homemade commercials, right, on cable TV. And we have our opinions about those. Millennials and Gen Z are tough to reach, right? I mean, if they are watching TV, they're skipping past the commercials. And there's just no point airing your ad at a time when your target audience doesn't watch TV. So there's a lot of time. There's a lot of dead air time, right? And those are the times that are more affordable than others in some cases. So when you look at budgeting for TV, your ad production costs range widely, right? They're going to range from at a very low minimum of $3,000, but it's a lot higher than that in most cases, to $25,000 on average, and they can be higher. They can be a lot higher. Airtime costs average $200 to $1,500 for a 30-second ad. And they can be certainly less expensive at 2 a.m., but who's going to see it? And you'll want to run your ad multiple times during a specific time period. So, when you're contracting for, TV ad spends, you're going to want to run it 2 times in a 30-minute time slot or 3 times within an hour, because that's how you're going to get, the most impact out of that spend. So keeping along with kind of the broadcast media, if we look at radio, there's definitely still pros to radio advertising. You can target your ads to a specific audience based on the station format, right? Each radio station will tell you the demographics of their listeners. And they know those. They know who's listening. Radio is a local medium, so depending on your market, there could be some good radio options for you. Radio ads can be produced very quickly, and it's much less expensive to run and produce radio than TV ads. Cons of radio is the drive times are prime, right? That's when people listen. But every business that's buying radio wants their ads to run during the drive times. And radio is often background noise. Your ad's going to need to run often to make an impact. You need to dominate the drive, right? You've probably heard that term, but, people are, they're listening to the music and they're still kind of tuning out the ads on the radio. Ads vanish as soon as they're played. People don't really, unless you've got a really, really good radio ad, they're not going to remember it. And there's a lot of competition when it comes to radio ads, right? There's lots of stations. There's lots of, there's satellite radio, there's music streaming, there's lots of competition, against your radio ads. When it comes to radio budgeting, your ad production costs are typically free. Most of the radio stations will produce ads for you. But if you hire out copywriting, you hire out voice talent, they can cost between $300 to $1,000 in some cases. And, obviously, depending on what you're doing, they could cost, more. Airtime costs, what we see typically average $500 to $5,000 per week, depending on your location, depending on the amount of competition, that you have. But as you're focusing on your radio ad budgeting, you're going to want to focus on one day part. They call them day parts, as you probably know. And you're going to want to advertise with good frequency. So you're going to want to purchase at least 3 spots within that day part, Monday through Friday. Again, focusing on that. In my opinion, those drive times is when you're going to make the most impact on the radio. And I bundle, digital radio in with traditional radio. So, if you're looking at the other digital radio or digital music options, I kind of bundle those in together. Newspaper, you're still many of you are still probably advertising in newspaper. Pros, local papers definitely have a local audience. And people tend to look at ads in the newspaper for a long period of time, or at least they'll have the paper open to that ad for a long period of time. And consumers do take your ad with them, right? Newspapers are portable, and they will share the newspaper with others. Multiple people will read potentially that newspaper. Cons, there's definitely a steady erosion of newspaper readership, right? We all know that. There's no control over ad placement, or you're definitely paying a surcharge if you can have some idea of or some control over where that ad is placed. There's really no demographic targeting at all when it comes to newspaper, and obviously you're dealing with newspaper print, so definitely not the greatest print image quality. But I think the biggest con is, we all know there's that steady erosion of newspaper readership. And it's not getting any better, right? Ad production costs, again, for newspaper are typically free, similar to the radio. But it can cost, $150 to $500 if you, again, hire out copywriting or graphic design from a design firm, something like that. Advertising costs vary widely by circulation. Your ad size, the number of colors, if you're printing in color black, and the frequency, that you contract for. Newspaper ads are priced per column inch. In some cases, the number of columns wide by the size, the height of the ad. Or, a lot of newspapers now have modular pricing, where you're paying for a full page ad or a half page ad, a quarter page ad. So it's really very hard to give you a cost, because it just really depends on the newspaper and your market there. Direct mail, there's a lot of pros to direct mail. Extremely accurate targeting, mailing lists and things like that are extremely accurate. A lot of data when it comes to mailing lists. So you can get mailing lists based on demographics, income, obviously credit-based mailing lists, homeowner data, even obviously using your account data, things like that. There's business and specialty lists. There's new households, new mover lists. Those types of things are all available. The mailers themselves provide a lot of room to provide detailed information, about your products and services, any disclosures that you need to include, and obviously the ability to include reply cards, to get responses back, applications back, things like that. Direct mail provides the ability to easily track delivery and response rate, and people now get too much email. So it used to be that we'd all get too much junk mail, right? Too much direct mail, and stuff was stuffing our mailboxes. Now we're getting too much email, and we're only getting 1 to 2 pieces of mail a day, and we're getting hundreds of email messages a day. and Gen Z in particular, actually, and loves direct mail. So I know that all of our customers are looking for younger, members and younger customers. Direct mail might be a good option for you to try to reach that younger demographic. Cons: postage. Postage is not going down. it's going to continue to go up. So obviously you kind of counter the postage with targeting to reduce your quantity, but postage is definitely, a negative when it comes to direct mail, and response rates can be low if your mail piece and offer aren't well thought out. So when it comes to direct mail budgeting, obviously direct mail costs are going to vary by quantity, your list source, your size and color of the mail piece itself, and obviously other production specifications and how it's mailed, right? The mail class and things like that are going to affect the cost. To give you ideas of budget, I use our own business, to give you pricing. But a full color personalized letter will cost you about $1.30 with all the costs included, including design costs, printing costs, mailing costs, and that even includes postage. So $1.30 a piece is that's probably even on the high side for budgeting purposes, but that'll give you an idea, for you to budget with for a full color personalized letters, with all costs included. So digital advertising, we're talking here about, keyword or online advertising, Google type advertising. Obviously pros, your ads are visible 24/7, 365 if you want them to be. You can certainly kind of control even the time of day that those ads are available. It gives you that ability to promote multiple products and services to different groups, of prospects. You can test multiple ad designs and messages simultaneously. So unlike, those other media, now you've got that ability to test different messages and different ad designs, all within the same budget. You've got flexible budgeting with preset limits. So you don't have to worry about going over a certain budget per day or a certain budget per month, and extremely measurable results, right? If any of you have done digital advertising, you know exactly how many ads are shown and how many clicks you're receiving, where those ads are appearing. And retargeting, follows people who previously visited your website. So you're able to, kind of pre-qualify people and then remind them of your offer, and really learn from those retailers that have done a great job of that. Cons are there's significant competition in some markets and for some keywords, right? So if you're just going to purchase an ad based on the term mortgage loans or the term checking accounts, and you're in a major market area, you can spend quite a bit of money on those terms. So you might want to look at what we call long tail keywords, or more phrase type searching, as opposed to those short keywords. But there's lots of options, and campaigns can get complicated to manage as you have a lot of different campaigns and a lot of different, ad variations running. So you need to, look at the best tools you have to manage those types of campaigns. And success really depends on the quality of your website and the quality of your landing pages, and really the follow-up that your staff is doing on the leads that you're getting through those ads as well. So you might see clicks coming through, but are those clicks actually converting into new accounts and new loans? And can you track that all the way through? And unfortunately, consumers can ignore ads, right, or avoid clicking on them. So you might be getting the impressions, but not getting the conversions. So that comes back to ad design and just behavior as well. So when it comes to budgeting for online advertising or digital advertising, ad production costs are typically included in agency fees if you're working with an agency, or ads can be produced at very low costs. Obviously, there's web development costs for landing pages, that aren't included in those types of fees. But advertising budgets can be set to any amount you're comfortable with. So Daily or monthly limits can be put in place for each campaign, and you can set maximum bid amounts for pay-per-click campaigns. The average cost per click on Google is $2.32, but that completely varies based on what product or service you're promoting. So that's an average, but that's an average across all all ads. But there's really good forecasting tools. So if you're looking to do some digital advertising, talk with your agency of choice, I guess, or give us a call and we can help do some forecasting for you, and show you how many clicks you can expect based on your search criteria and budget and those types of things. So when we talk about online advertising, you've already heard me. I talk about Google primarily because they really are the king of search, right? As of September, they controlled over 88% of the U.S. search engine market. 88%. I mean, the other search engines, while they exist, they just don't play anywhere near as large of a role as Google. I mean, Bing, which is Microsoft, and Yahoo, which is actually the same search engine, they're just a fraction. So the one that I like to watch now, which you probably have not heard of or may not have heard of, is ELQACS. What I like to watch about it is it's an interesting story, primarily for Generation Z, again, those younger consumers. Gen Z is very concerned about kind of political concerns and just I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, but just kind of social concerns over social causes. There's my word. Social causes in general. So as you're marketing to Gen Z, they want to know how you're supporting your community and social causes. ELQACS actually donates. They plant trees from the proceeds based on the number of searches people conduct through their search engine. And they're very transparent. If you go to ELQACS' website, they'll actually show exactly how many trees they plant. And it's actually making an impact. So they're getting younger consumers, younger people to actually use their search engine because of that. And you can actually see that growing from month to month. Now, 0.13% is it's statistically significant. Is it really concerning to Google? Probably not. But it's interesting because that's why they even show up on this chart. Why is Google that dominant? It's because it works, right? Everybody knows that they can go to Google and they're going to find the information that they're searching for. And why do I bring it up? Because if you're going to invest in any type of digital advertising, you're going to invest in Google, right? If 88% of all traffic in your area drove on the same road, you'd purchase a billboard. So you need to adjust your marketing plan for Google. 88% of people in your market are using Google. It's just a flat out fact. So, if Google's not part of your marketing plan now, it needs to be. So when we start talking about, Google ads, for those of you that aren't using any, that aren't doing any type of digital advertising, when you do a Google search, you will see paid search ads at the top of your search window, and they'll be identified, as ads. So those are your paid search ads, and your organic listings are going to be below that. So search engine optimization is the technique of improving your search position in those organic search results, getting up higher in those search results that aren't paid. To get into the paid search results, you're going to be paying for search engine advertising. To get into those organic search results, you're going to be optimizing your web pages to be found. Now, website optimization is a digital marketing strategy with no end, right? Google in particular changes their algorithms more than once per day. Your goal is clearly to be on the first page of search results for the key terms that you want to be found by, but it's impossible to get there for everything. It just is. You don't have the time or the money to get there for everything. Search engine optimization, is about content, the content of your site, the content of each page, and the coding behind, the way your site was programmed behind every page. You can expect to budget on average between $750 to $1,500 per month for SEO services. It can be more than that. It can be less than that. But on average, it's between $750 and $1,500 per month to make an impact. It's a long-term strategy. You're not going to see results overnight with SEO. But it's kind of what you're looking for is kind of consistent improvement. And Google can make a change one day and you'll go backwards. But hopefully the firm that you're working with will see that. They'll make changes, re-optimize certain pages on your site, and a couple months later you'll see things rebound. With search engine advertising, going back to digital advertising, the price is based on what you're willing to pay either per impression, meaning each ad displayed, or per click. We usually recommend the pay per click as opposed to the pay per thousand, unless your primary goal is brand awareness. You have to remember with any type of search engine advertising that it's an auction. So the more you pay, typically, the higher your ad appears in those search results, although ad quality does matter. So the more people click on your ad, the better your ad performs. You might be able to get your ad to appear higher even if you're paying less than another advertiser. So there are algorithms involved, but it is an auction. So display ads are different. I mean, there's still an auction, but the text ads that I showed you on that previous screen that were at the top of the search window on Google search, display ads are different. They don't appear in Google search windows. Display ads are graphical, so they're not just text-based. And both Google and Facebook and other ad networks, but Google and Facebook primarily rent small spots on millions of websites and apps, web apps as well, where your ads can be displayed. So these, unlike search ads, these ads can be targeted by age and by gender and interests and topics, and you can even select specific websites where you want your ads to appear. And there's several different sizes of ads that are created for different placements and devices. So these are some examples of ads that I found recently, most of which are financial related, but I wanted to show you some different variations. So you'll see some for both banks and credit unions, some for investment firms. The ad on the bottom right for Bank of America happened to actually be a video ad. But you'll see Navy Federal in this case actually had multiple variations of ads running, and they were on the same site. So as I refreshed the site, I saw a mobile banking ad at one time. I saw checking ads. They had a few of them going. And then I actually also showed this example for Vivid Seats. And what I liked about it was the same ad, but they personalize it based on what they knew about the viewer. So in our household, my son is a Bears fan and I'm a Broncos fan, and they happen to know that. So at one moment I saw a Bears ad, and literally a few minutes later I saw a Broncos ad. It's the same ad. And obviously they were appealing to the audience based on what they knew about us. I never saw an ad for Chiefs tickets or Green Bay Packers tickets. So they obviously had data from somewhere that they knew, what tickets we would be interested in. So I thought that was interesting. But these are some of those display ads that can be presented. You'll never see these on Google.com itself, but you would see these potentially on other Google properties such as YouTube or Gmail, and then you'll see them literally on millions of other websites. So it's the display ads that allow you to enable retargeting or remarketing. So what happens, if you're not familiar with the term retargeting or remarketing, is a prospect visits your website, right? They visit your website first, and then you start tracking that prospect through the use of a cookie, which is just a small little text file that, you basically put on that person's computer because they visited your website or a specific page on your website. So you start tracking that person, and that person leaves your website. But they leave and they take that little package, that little cookie with them. And then they start seeing your ad on these millions of other websites until they come back to your website because they click on that ad. And that's the concept of retargeting or remarketing. So digitally now you have a way of following up with somebody you don't even know, and you'll probably never know who they were, but you've got a way of reconnecting with, these anonymous people that visit your website and leave no trail of who they are. That's the concept of retargeting or remarketing, and you see it every day, or very often, most likely, with, again, major retailers. So if you go to, a retailer's website and look at a pair of shoes or something like that, and you leave that website without purchasing that pair of shoes is going to start following you around the internet. That's what they're doing, is retargeting or remarketing. And banks and credit unions can do the same thing with your products and services. And it's not magic. This is how it's done. And it can be enabled, and it can be done relatively inexpensively. And it can be done very, very effectively. It works. It's available with Google and Facebook ad networks, but it's only done with display ads. It's not done with those text-based ads. So let's talk about video content, right? We know that video content dominates social media. It's extremely popular, right? We know that landing page videos increase conversion rates by 80% and more when you have a video on your landing pages. We know that just having the word video in an email subject line increases open rates by 19%. We know that 90% of consumers say that videos help them make buying decisions. When it comes to purchasing video production, explainer videos and animated videos are often inexpensive as opposed to live action video. They're much more inexpensive, the animated videos. Testimonial videos are easy. Great videos can be shot with a smartphone. You don't need a ton of video production equipment. Your smartphones are capable of shooting 4K video, and you can get devices called gimbals that will stabilize your video so that it's rock solid and not shaky for less than $150. And short videos actually have better engagement than longer videos. So make video content part of your content marketing strategy, part of your strategy for next year as you start putting your marketing plans together. It's not difficult to start creating video or engaging with a marketing firm to create some video for you. Video is also changing. So personalized videos are now very, very possible. They're not inexpensive. I don't want to kid you. It's not something that you're going to get into for $5,000. It's going to even cost more than that. But video is moving from a one-to-many channel to a one-to-one channel, and the cost of personalized videos is going to come down. So people prefer video. We just talked about it. And personalized videos are truly individualized based on what you know about your member or your customer, even down to account and transaction details, even balances that can be embedded and hosted securely in a video. I want to share an example because I really think this is one of those technologies it's here. And for the larger institutions, it's definitely here and it's affordable. For the smaller ones, maybe not so much. It's something we can help with, by the way. It's something we offer. But I just want to play one. This is from a company actually out of Canada. It's a retirement video, but it's a really, really good example that I want to share with you. So give me 1 second and I will get it started.
Hi, here is an AFP Habitat video to explain your pension savings statement for June 2018. This is your total savings, distributed between 2 accounts. Your total mandatory savings is this amount, and is distributed as follows. From the total amount shown, this is the investment you've made in Habitat, and this amount is the profit you've earned. This is the total for your voluntary savings, distributed as follows. Out of the last 12 months, you've contributed 10 months to your mandatory savings account. Remember to contribute each month, since gaps in your contributions can have a direct impact on your retirement pension total. Do you know how much pension income you will have in retirement? As of June 2018, this is the amount we estimate you will receive in monthly pension income. This is taking into account that you will need to keep contributing the same amount until your retirement. How can you add to your pension? By contributing this additional monthly amount, we estimate your future pension could increase by this amount each month. Go to afphabitat.cl and see how your pension could grow by improving your APV savings plan. AFP Habitat, improving your future together.
So that's an example of a personalized video, and you can see how it pulled in personalized data for that specific customer. And that's totally possible. It's not something you're going to use every day, but you can see the impact that that would have for a high value product. So we're seeing it used for mortgages. We're seeing it used for pre-screen campaigns. We're seeing it used for even in terms of, with like helping people analyze results of certain financial calculators, retirement planning, those types of things. Costs are not out of control. You have your standard kind of video production costs for like an animated video. You then have obviously some programming costs, typically in the neighborhood of $5,000 or more for the programming. And then you have a monthly cost associated with it, depending on the number of ad views, minimum monthly cost of about $4,000. So it's one of those things that if it's the right product and, it's kind of a longer term type engagement, that it might make sense. So and again, I really foresee the cost of these types of technologies coming down. So neat stuff. I just wanted to share it because I just don't think it's one of those things that a lot of people even know is available yet. And it definitely is driving very high conversion rates when you can deliver a personalized video, to an individual about their specific financial situation and how they can improve it. So to help with budgeting, I want to give you some metrics from, in this case, just from the Financial Brand, from one of their reports, their recommendations of what you should spend, in particular on kind of digital advertising campaigns. So what they said was that the average company is spending 35% of their marketing budget on digital campaigns, and that's not enough. And they define digital campaigns including email, online advertising, search engine optimization, and social media. They went on to say that at least 50% of your marketing budget in 2019 should be dedicated to digital marketing, and that anywhere between a third and a half of that should go towards organic and paid search efforts. So that search engine or optimization and paid online advertising would be a third to a half of your budget, which is a huge amount. I think that your website needs to be your first priority because all of your marketing efforts, both online and offline, will drive people to your website. So your website needs to be in order, right? If your website isn't as good as it can be, then you need to make sure that that's top, because anything that you're doing marketing wise, whether you're putting an ad in the newspaper, you're running an ad on TV, or you're doing any combination of that online advertising or search engine optimization, you're driving people to your website. So you need to have it function as well as it can be, and then obviously have all of the landing pages and conversion behind the scenes be as good as it can be. All the online applications and all those things that are going to drive business, to your institutions. That's, to me, where your budget priority needs to be as well. To help you with your management teams, again, this is also from Financial Brand Research, where your marketing budget should be as a percentage of your assets. So you can see your asset class ranges on the left. And, this was from some survey research that they did, but showing kind of the minimum and maximum percentages and amounts of those of the marketing budgets set based on asset classes. So you can see where you fall in your marketing budget as compared to what their survey results were this year. And maybe this helps, and maybe it doesn't, but it gives you some, I guess, food for thought based on the size of your institution and your overall marketing budget. And then to give you some idea of budget allocation by media channel, this is where financial institutions reported they were spending their money. So 36.8% of budgets were being allocated to broadcast and offline media, 50% to online marketing, and 12% to other marketing efforts. And just to give you an idea of what multi-channel marketing can do, this is an actual campaign that was executed for one of our clients. They sent out, obviously, a targeted direct mail piece in this case. This is what the mail piece looked like. Ran website banner ads on their website, online ads, digital ads that went out through Google and Facebook. So there's one of the social media ads. This was actually on Facebook. They also used Facebook social media network. So online ads showing up in apps as well, both retargeting and paid ads. They sent out email marketing messages to their members as well. And they also used inserts on their statements and e-statements for this campaign. So to give you an idea of the results of this campaign, they sent out a total of 4,713 postcards. We tracked that 99.8% of those postcards were delivered. They sent out a total of 25,809 emails. They received 526 clicks on those emails. They delivered a total of 323,000 online ads over a period of 60 days. 135,000 of those were retargeting ads. In other words, people visited their website, and then those people that visited their website saw 135,000 of those ads. The total campaign, all of these options, cost them $3,270 total. and they generated over $10 million in new deposits. So those types of efforts work, right? I mean, that was a substantial return for the investment. And that's the information that I had to share for you, with you today. So again, I want to thank you for your time and attention. I hope that the information that I provided was valuable for you. I'm certainly available to answer any questions that you have, either here or offline. Feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call. Thanks again.